Hello, I've got an interesting clip here. So it's a caller from Canada who spent 10 minutes explaining how somebody he knew died, and he's felt some kind of, I don't know, pain or electricity in his nerve, in his body, and he's interpreting this as the person who tried trying to contact him. So we're getting towards the end of the call now, and without my interference, I'm going to play the remainder of the call and then come in for some comments at the end. Here we go.
People don't come. I'm not the only one who was a drug addict, didn't go back to his family for 20 to 30 years. Get contact. Right?
DJ, what does any of this have to do with why you believe it?
Yes, because it was trying to tell me something.
No, you don't get to assume that he was trying to tell you something. You'd need to prove that. If I just assume that there are dead people who want to tell me things, then that can serve as a justification for anything weird that happens. But you don't get to make that assumption.
But I don't want. You're really an atheist because it seems that you don't want to believe in anything.
No, sir. And now you're done. I tell you what, DJ. I'm willing to believe in anything that you can actually present evidence for. And I was sitting here patiently to ask why on earth people would believe something without evidence. And your response is to accuse me of being closed-minded, that I don't want to believe anything. Well, I don't believe I'm going to be wasting any more time talking to you about this because you are not being honest with me.
Somebody who plays the trump card, you don't want to believe, you're an atheist, you won't believe anything, you're too skeptical, etc., etc. Nothing could convince you. People who make these statements, they play what they think is a trump card at the end of a discussion in which they have failed to present any evidence. They've failed to make their case, and they will turn around at the end and say, well, you're an atheist, you don't want to believe anyway, so it's futile even trying to convince you. Nothing will convince you. I think people who play that trump card deserve not to be taken seriously and should not be entertained in any future discussions. I've got a friend who, he's still my friend, but he's also a full-blown conspiracy theorist, and he only said to me a few weeks ago when he presented his evidence for chemtrails, I think it was, and he showed me a photograph and I debunked it. I said, well, he said, what are all these tanks doing in this aeroplane? We got this photograph and they're going to disperse chemicals. And luckily I know somebody who's in the aeronautical business, and I showed him the photo. He said, oh, right, okay. He said, yeah. He said, when Boeing are testing aeroplanes, they're not initially full of seats with all the passengers in them. So what they do is they put weights, they put these, these cylinders inside, and they space them out inside the aeroplane to simulate what the aeroplane is going to be like when it's full of passengers. There's your explanation. And I put this to him. I said, well, no. And I explained why. He said, oh, Stuart, you won't, I show you evidence and you won't believe anything. You're an atheist, you're a skeptic, you just rule everything out. And I said, no, I don't rule that. I don't rule everything out. You have to present me with convincing evidence. And you haven't done that. I can give you lots of examples where I've been convinced, and I did so. So I believe in all those things, but I'm not believing in this thing that you've told me. Like, I also don't believe in flat earth for all the reasons that I've given. But it's very dishonest. Now, of course, I can't exclude him from my life because obviously he's my best friend and he's still a good guy. But I just try to avoid, and I've asked him actually not really to talk about, because we've got a different worldview. I've said it's not constructive because we've got so different worldviews. It's just not, well, let's talk about other things. So we've had to sort of agree to differ on that. But I would certainly not otherwise entertain anybody who says at the end of a conversation, oh, you won't believe, you don't want to believe whatever I say, you'll never believe, you're an atheist, so you're too skeptical, etc., etc. And Matt quite rightly saw the opportunity there just to shut the conversation down, say, well, you're a dishonest interlocutor. So that's it. Let me know what you think. I've heard this a few times, you're an atheist, you won't believe. You find it on YouTube comments and even people calling in. But it's so unintellectual, and it's a position that's got no dignity about it whatsoever and no honesty about it whatsoever. It's an admission of complete defeat. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.